So we're going to look at gaseous exchange in plants. Do they also give out oxygen? Well, maybe. Do they also need oxygen? Most definitely. And they produce carbon dioxide as a product of respiration. The need for oxygen, to carry out respiration does not leave plants exempted. But the special thing about them is that they actually can make oxygen when they carry out photosynthesis, because photosynthesis uses up carbon dioxide and gives out oxygen as a byproduct. That makes them special. However, important for us to note is that plants do not have special respiratory organs. They do not. However, their gaseous exchange takes place in the powers known as stomata and special cells found on the stems of some plants, which we refer to as lenticels. Therefore, they do not have veins, arteries, capillaries like we do. They don't have lungs, they don't have gills, tracheals, they don't have all of those. And we're going to find out why they do not need those specialized organs for gaseous exchange. Number one, plants use up the carbon dioxide from respiration for photosynthesis. Remember, respiration gives out carbon dioxide as a byproduct, and for them, instead of they are excreting it to the atmosphere, they instead reuse it in the process of photosynthesis to make their own food. Now, they produce carbon dioxide as a process, as a result, as a byproduct of photosynthesis, and that is again used up for respiration. Therefore, they don't really need a specific structure to pump out carbon dioxide from respiration or to take out oxygen from photosynthesis, because there is that process of reuse. Number three, plants are generally not that active. They're not as active as animals because they do not locomote. It's true they move by growth, but they do not locomote. That really significantly reduces their need for oxygen, their need to give out carbon dioxide, because their requirements are very much less. Therefore, they'll not need a special feature to bring in the oxygen. Number four, plants have large intercellular spaces within their tissues. What we mean by intercellular spaces is that you'll find groups of cells. And in between them there's a space, and then you find other cells. Like that. Now, these intercellular spaces are important in allowing movement of the gases, rapid movement of the gases, and therefore makes it of no use to have a special organ that can bring the gases to the cells, because these spaces enable the gases to move. And lastly, plants have numerous stomata, numerous of them, thousands of them on every surface of the leaf. Especially on the lower surface, there are numerous stomata. Very many of them, a small space, and that is enough to bring in all the oxygen required for respiration, all the carbon dioxide required for photosynthesis, and therefore there's not really a need to have a nostril. There's no need for a plant, to have a mouth, to have a throat where gases can go through, and they have such a simple structure for that matter. these are the reasons why plants do not require special respiratory organs. And this is their summarized form as we have been talking about them. And important for us to remember is that they have a low metabolic rate, hence the low oxygen needs and hence the lower carbon dioxide output. And therefore, we can now move on to gaseous exchange in insects. Mention insects like locusts, grasshoppers, ants. Well, they have a system. They have a system of what we call tracheal tubes. And these tracheal tubes continue from the spiracles. Spiracles are found on the sides of their abdomen. Their pores. Now, from those pores, continue what we call the tracheal tubes that enter right into the body, into the abdominal cavity, and they, like we said, the blood bathes the whole body. It's not found in vessels, so they are bathed by the blood inside there, and these tubes reach all body tissues just the way capillaries do with mammals. Now, let's look at how their structure looks like. Now, this is just an extraction of the tracheal system of insects. This right here is the spiracle. Here, spiracle, and it has many of such pores along the lateral side of the abdomen. Now, this is the lining of the abdomen. Okay. Now, this is the continuation of the tracheal systems, and these rings we're seeing are rings of chitin because insect skeleton have a lot of chitin in them. However, in this part here there is no chitin, and this is where the actual gaseous exchange takes place. So there it is hollow inside. Now the air comes in like that, and all these are the body fluids here, right here. Now, these are the body fluids, and these are around here are the cells of the insects. Okay. Now, these cells obtain the oxygen from these tracheoles. Now, this one is what we call a tracheole. A tracheole. And all of them now are tracheoles. Now, the cells get their oxygen from the tracheoles, and the carbon dioxide crosses over to the inside because they're also hollow. Okay. Now, this carbon dioxide travels all the way up to outside of the spiracles, and a fresh air comes in again like that, like that. Like that. Now this is a trachea. Okay, so this is a tracheal trunk. Now, what happens during breathing in? Actually, insects breathe in. How do you get to know? If you've ever held maybe a grasshopper or a locust in your hands, you see its abdominal muscles, its abdomen moving. Now, that movement shows that it's breathing, okay? Remember, for them, they do not have a lung. Otherwise, their thorax would be the one moving. Now, what happens during inspiration? Inspiration is the process of taking in air. Expiration is the process of bringing out air. So, what happens during inspiration? Now, during inspiration, the abdomen, the muscles of the abdomen contract so that it expands. Now, when the abdomen expands, the volume of the abdomen increases. That reduces the pressure within the abdomen, and therefore air rushes through, because as the pressure this side reduces, it causes the air to go through the spiracles to this point here. Now, air rushes all the way. There is a fluid in here, so where the gases dissolve. Now, there is an exchange of gases at these points, all the different points, and after that, expiration takes place, or call it breathing out. Now, breathing out, the abdomen reduces. The volume, therefore, inside the abdomen also reduces. Now, that increases pressure within the abdominal cavity, or within the abdomen of the insect, and therefore, air is forced out. Now, when that air is forced out, because it will not breathe out forever, it stops again, the abdomen increases. Air rushes in. Gaseous exchange takes place at the tracheals. Then exhalation starts. The abdomen decreases. Volume decreases. Pressure in the abdomen increases. Air is forced out through the spiracle. And that goes on and on and on for as long as the insect can breathe. Okay. Important for us to remember what happens to the pressure, to the volume of the abdomen, and to the and what exactly does the abdomen do during breathing in and breathing out. So the abdomen, does it increase or decrease? Does the pressure increase or decrease? Does the volume increase or decrease? And therefore, does the air rush in or forced out? And so that is it about expiration and inspiration by the insect. This is the summary of what happens when an insect inhales or exhales, as we have been talking about. So you can take your time and appreciate them, and then we can go on.